Alright, so Renan just said he wants to go check out the old graveyard, right?
Yeah.
The old cemetery. So I'll talk about the old cemetery here for a second and then we'll head over and check it out. So the old cemetery here, it's called the Danville Cemetery, and this little, actually we're in Pennsylvania right now, but we're gonna head back across the New York border, and the area is called Danville, and it's probably not the Danville that you're familiar with. There's a lot of places, cities, towns called Danville in every state, but this Danville is kind of just like a little pocket. There's no town, there's no city, it's just farms basically, and where we have our cabin at, it's the other side of the lake is a campsite, and that's about all there is in this area. Some homes too, of course, and it's all connected by roads like this, perfect dual sport roads, you know, roads that are gravelly or dirt and then paved, and they recently repaved a lot of the roads, so they're really nice. But along one of those roads, there's always been this little cemetery. And as a kid, my parents used to take me there and try to, you know, take all the kids there and, you know, spook us out. And it was pretty spooky because we'd all walk down there from our cabin at night, and we'd just have some, you know, flashlights back in the 80s weren't too good. They're just simple C battery type, dim yellow type bulbs, so it was always added to the effect. Now the high powered LED flashlights and cell phones and everything, and it's kind of diminishes the spooky nature of it all. So which is you know, technology kind of does that to a lot of things, but except these bikes, fuel injection and, you know, modern technology is pretty nice on motorcycles, because, well, they're way back there. We're on a family cruise. It's supposed to be a family cruise. I don't know where everybody else is. Just when I think I'm going slow, I look back and they're nowhere to be found, but it's kind of understandable because they're all on 1984, 1985, and a 1970 spec Hondas. So we're in Pennsylvania game land area. These are hunting lands, hunting areas that they set up. So so anyways, yeah, so as a kid, this cemetery used to freak me out, and it wasn't as well kept when I was a kid, but it's really well kept now, so it's not even less spooky. So Brendan said he wanted to go check out that cemetery, so that's what we're gonna go do, right? All right. Okay, so the other fun part of a cemetery adventure or graveyard trip is that you get to go through prime deer country, right? This is the best place to spot deer around here. They like these open meadows and these grass fields, and they tend to like fresh cut grass the best. Although there's not a lot of houses on this road, there's some fresh cut grass. That house is clearly abandoned. And this is all farmlands, really. It's kind of pretty, but also a little sad in certain ways, because the farming industry is not the most prosperous most of the time, and it's a noble pursuit to be a farmer. And this area of upstate New York in particular, it's around the town of Deposit, and the town of Deposit was originally a mining town. No, I'm sorry, not a mining town, but a logging town. So all of the industry in this area was due or supported by logging. So the forests and farmlands were logged out, and they would deposit all of the timber into the river, into the Delaware River, at the town of Deposit. And that's where the term deposit comes from. And that was pretty interesting. But the town of Deposit is actually kind of downtrodden and has its little glimmers here and there, but for the most part the industry is just not there, and to support the town, the industry here. And that road right there goes up to a frack site. They had a little expedition kind of here into fracking at one time, a couple years, 10 years ago, 10 plus years ago. And there's a lot of natural gas deposits underneath the earth here in the shale rock, and it was looking really prosperous, but the state of New York government said no to fracking. So we're actually still in Pennsylvania, so these red signs indicate we're in Pennsylvania still. So so in Pennsylvania there is fracking, I believe, or there was fracking. So that site back there led to a fracking well. They discovered some natural gas there, and there was maybe just a well, not actually a full pumping station, but just a exploratory thing. So there's always deer in that field, but there's none there today, is there? I haven't seen deer in that field all trip. Yeah. Maybe it's not dark enough. So as we continue along here, the road will turn to pavement, and that's when it crosses into the New York border. So New York state line is coming right up. It's kind of cool because this house up here that you see is just over the New York Pennsylvania border on the Pennsylvania side. So pretty cool. So as you can see, there's no welcome to Pennsylvania sign, but there's a town of Sanford sign, so that means it's New York. There's no welcome to New York sign. So it's really kind of ambiguous as to where you're at up here. These roads crisscross into Pennsylvania and New York, and it's usually only recognized by the changing of road condition. So in this case, New York has the upper hand on the road because we went from gravel to pavement. So that's pretty interesting. It's kind of fun. It makes it even more dual sporty up here, so that you can go from pavement to gravel to dirt to trails back to pavement. You can get all of the criteria in your dual sporting fun in this area. Oh yeah, the goat farm. Yeah. Alright, so we're pretty close to the cemetery, and don't get your hopes up on anything extravagant. It's a really small little cemetery for a tiny little portion of community here. And what's interesting though is a lot of the family names are the same, and it's the ages of some of the deaths are a little bit sad because there's some pretty early deaths, but and there, I think it's also maybe dips into I don't think it dips back into the Civil War period. I'm not sure. I can't remember the dates. Oh, that's a spooky old camper up there in the woods, yeah. Alright. Still no deer. And this structure here is called the Red Barn. Back when my mother was a kid, this used to be a pretty hopping place. They had dancing and music and concerts and ice cream and all sorts of cool stuff. Old time fun. Yeah. Alright, we reached it. Danville Cemetery. You want to go check it out? Uh-oh, the bike stalled. No. Okay, Renan. You wanted to stop. You lead the expedition. Go ahead, Cal. Lead it. No? We're exploring the cemetery. Renan's request. What's the oldest death? Or
17.
no way. Civil War, right? That's 18 what?
I thought there was a Revolutionary War too.
Revolutionary War? No way, it's 1776. So 1891.
You know you're walking on their body.
Yeah. Well, we're pretty much walking on everybody's body that's in here because I'm sure there's some that we don't know about, right? It's kind of weird. See, there's one right there.
That must have been a little
Little one. So
He must have been like one.
this one here, 1891. 1894. So
There was a plague of some sort.
a plague.
Why is there a rock?
Was there?
People visited. You can read that one.
Yeah, there's still relatives of people here because there's a flag. Look, so this one must have been a veteran.
Here's the footstone.
Oh, is that the footstone?
Yep. Headstone and footstone.
Headstone and footstone. Okay, so this is a veteran.
And
1889. And it was, can't read it too well. It's hard to see. 1889. So he was a veteran. So if he died in 1889, the only war back then was probably the Civil War then, right?
U.S. veteran.
I can't tell.
Here's another headstone, footstone.
Headstone. Okay, so they're footstones. They're not little ones, they're footstones.
Coffin, and it's
Yeah.
indented from it just turning back to earth.
Yeah, we can see where the hollows of the ground are.
You don't want to step in the hole.
So this one's, can't even read it. Can you read it? The numbers are in?
There's writing on the other side here. Both sides. Minnie E. died 1889. So Minnie's on this side.
1889. That's his wife, I guess.
Yeah. Minnie.
Huh.
Minnie
Died 1889. Interesting.
broke off. There used to be stones when I was a little girl. All of
Here's some over here. Some in the way back.
You can read them at night when it's showing a flashlight from the top.
A lot of the names are Decker, and the road here is H. Decker Road, so maybe H. Decker himself is in here. This is Leland, 1885, 1891. This is, can't tell. They're so worn up. These are well over 100 years old, so this one was a little lamb on top, so I bet you that's a kid. So born November 4th, 1891, died December something, 1895. So yeah, it's a 4 years old. That's kind of sad. And there's a flag here. There's no stone here, is there?
This one was small.
That's a footstone again.
So
Wait,
there was a headstone and a footstone.
So this headstone must,
They fell down
yep.
years ago.
oh, right here.
Didn't you have a spooky story about all these headstones falling over or something when you were a kid?
Yes, I came in when I was a little girl with everybody else, and all of a sudden when we walked in, all the headstones went boom, 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 boom. fell
Oh,
down,
it's kind of spooky, huh?
screaming out of here.
Kind of spooky, Rennie? Would you come back at night, Ren? Maybe.
Papa doesn't make. Daddy, what does this say?
It says Wellington, and I can't really read the rest. But it must have been a veteran. Wellington Ray, maybe Ray
Daddy.
Wellington. Yeah,
Daddy, these two were in the war.
they're in the war. Yeah, pretty cool that they were in a war that long ago. These are all over 100 years old. So there's people living here well over 100 years ago.
Daddy, you walk.
This is Isaac Dan.
You walk
Died.
steps.
Yeah, well, they're over 100 years old. They're no longer there anymore. They turned into dirt. So, July 10th, 1884. So, pretty old stuff.
You can still read this one.
Could still read it.
Maybe.
Pretty cool old cemetery.
From the army.
What's interesting here is there's this huge tree that always used to be here, but it's cut down this year, so it must have died. And my parents just counted the rings, and they said there's about 150 rings, so that means it's about 150 years old. So they probably planted this tree, or this tree started growing right when this cemetery started. If it's 150 years old, huh, Cal? Pretty cool.
This actually goes when these got here.
Yeah, it started growing when they got here.
It's the part
Yeah.
of that stone.
So you guys gonna spend all day here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not so scary in the daytime, huh?
Yeah.
Is it scary at night?
Yeah.
It'd be scary at night because you can't see, right?
Because Papa makes his phone do ghost noises.
Yeah, that's what my parents and grandparents used to do to me. That's like a tradition here, is to take the kids here at night and try to spook them out. But maybe we were a little bit older than you are, so it'd be kind of really scary for you guys.
Hey, can you try?
All right, so the graveyard trip's complete, right? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, right? Some interesting viewpoints from my 4-year-old Callan. I asked him about, I don't know, seeing the kids' gravestones always kind of makes me sad. Because obviously I have kids, and I asked him if it made him sad, and he said no. Sometimes I laugh at his viewpoints. It's pretty interesting to hear kids' thoughts on stuff like that. They just don't understand them. That cemetery visit. It's always fun to get a little trail action going on. So we're gonna hit the trails on the way back. Take a little detour, right? Take a little detour. Hold on. Hold on. Coming in hot. Yeah. Was that a fun graveyard visit and journey? Deer finding, failure to find a deer expedition? Fun ride nonetheless, right?
Yeah.
All right, what's next? What do you want to do now? Ride the trikes? Yeah. The ATC 70?
Yeah.
All right, let me think about that. All right, comment if you like this video. Comment if you've discovered things that I've said wrong, which I'm sure I did, about that graveyard. And let me know what you thought. Say bye. What? What's that? Chase you? Silly kid. Alright. So let me know if you liked the video. Just a fun little family adventure. I thought I'd share it with you guys. It's always fun getting the family out on all the vehicles, new or old. So hope you liked it. See ya.